한국과 월드뱅크의 관계를 몇 가지만 여쭤볼게요. 한국의 지분 참여율이 0.97%인가요? 그리고 22위라고 들었거든요.
Right.
이제 예전에 비하면 많이 한국이 늘어난 거죠.
Yes,
높아진
absolutely.
거고.
Yeah.
그거에 비해서 이제 한국이 위상에 걸맞게 그 권리도 좀 누려야 된다 이런 얘기인데 어떻게 생각하세요?
You know, this is a process that's ongoing. So very recently, the voice of developing countries has increased, including
네.
Korea's voice.
네.
It increased quite a bit. It's one of the top countries.
They need more. They want more.
But it's one of the top that increased. So there's no question in my mind that the voice of developing countries has to get stronger and stronger inside the bank. And this discussion will come up again in 2015. So, I think the election is an indication. Things are different now.
Yes.
The developing countries are insisting on their voice. Moreover, developing countries have tremendously talented people, right, who want a place at the table, who want their voices heard. And, so I would say, this is what I've done my whole life. I mean, I'm a physician. Physicians are very focused on data. We want evidence before we do things. But I'm also an anthropologist. An anthropologist, we are specifically trained to listen. That I continue to listen to the very broad range of voices, the European countries, the smaller countries. I mean, this is a job for a professional listener. And that's what we are. Anthropologists are professional listeners.
한국이 to get more influence over World Bank, what do you think Korea need to do?
For all developing middle-income countries, there's two sides of it. I think there's both the participation in the bank's activities, but there are also support for the bank. We want to see all countries, developed countries, middle-income countries, support the bank even more. I mean, this is the last IDA, the International Development Association, the last IDA round, there was tremendous support coming, especially from the US and the European countries. We would love to see countries like Korea and other middle-income countries make even larger donations to the grants that we give to the poorest countries. And but moreover, I would really love to see more young Koreans get involved in
to be global citizens.
Absolutely.
Yes.
To participate in organizations like the World Bank, the UN system, to really make sure that the voice of Korea and Koreans is heard throughout all these organizations. I think it's critical. I'm very encouraged. I know that so many of the great universities are teaching more courses in English. But it's not just English. I understand that many Koreans are learning Chinese.
Yes, true.
If you go to Europe, there are countries like the Netherlands where almost everybody speaks 3 languages. The number of languages that the Europeans speak is really impressive. Why can't Koreans all speak 3 or 4 languages? That would be wonderful. I know it's something that the country is moving toward. But being global citizens is very, very important. It is, in fact, I think, critical to the future of Korea.
네. 마지막 질문이 될 것 같은데요. 최초의 아이비리그 동양인 총장도 기록하셨고요. 또 최초의 월드뱅크 동양인 총재를 기록하셨잖아요. 최초를 강조할 생각은 없고요. 21세기에는 총재님 같은 인재가 필요한 거구나. 그런 의미에서 우리 한국의 젊은 이들에게 21세기를 준비하기 위해서는 이건 꼭 갖춰야 된다. 이것 좀 말씀해 주시겠어요?
The one thing I would say to young people is you have to prepare yourself to do great things in the world, not to be something in the world. And it's still true. So I didn't go to Dartmouth because I wanted to be something. I went to Dartmouth because I wanted to have this opportunity to have an impact on 5,000, 6,000 young people at the same time. And as you know, from day one, what I said to the students was, the world's troubles are your troubles, but there's nothing wrong with it. I really meant it. I stressed it every day. We built the Center for Healthcare Delivery Science, which was focused on trying to fix healthcare not only in the United States, but very recently we made an agreement to work with China, right? So I really mean it, and I really meant it. And that's why when the World Bank opportunity came along, this is a really important, difficult, complicated job. Right? And I'm not doing it because I wanted to be the president of the World Bank. I never even thought about it. I agreed to do it because, my goodness, the things we can do. To be able to wake up every morning and walk into a building where the front door says, we dream of a world free of poverty, right? That every day what I'm doing is trying to help countries grow economically so that we eliminate poverty and rise people up to the middle class. My goodness, that's really important. So I think you get in trouble if you focus your life on trying to be something.
Yes.
If you really want to do something, what you should feel is just utter humility in the face of all the things you have to do to prepare yourself to actually do something.
Yes.
That's what I feel right now. I feel incredibly grateful for this opportunity, but I also feel a tremendous amount of humility in terms of all that I have to do to prepare to be a great president at the World Bank. Same thing I felt going into Peru, same thing I felt going into Haiti, same thing I felt going into the World Health Organization, same thing I felt going into Dartmouth. That given opportunities, I just felt, oh my goodness, how am I going to step up to the challenge of doing this particular job well? I felt this every single time, and I feel it again. It's different than focusing on being something and then only taking satisfaction when you become that. You have to continue to put yourself in situations where you feel humbled at the task you have before yourself. And then at the same time, you have to prepare, and you have to focus on the things that are really important. For me, the things that are really important are continuing to live my life in a way that I never lose my focus on the people who are marginalized, people who are refugees, people who've walked from one capital to another. There are people who are living that existence right now. 60 years ago, that was my parents, right?
Yes,
right now, today, Southern Sudan, there's so many places where people are living that existence right now. I hope that more and more Koreans have those kind of people in their mind. I mean, one thing I worry about is that the young people of today, are going to lose their grandparents who had that experience. I grew up hearing those stories, and I worry that the young people in Korea today don't have those stories ringing in their ears. They should go talk to their grandparents, hear those stories once again, and then turn their attention to say, is this happening somewhere today? Right? Is the equivalent of my grandparents, are they somewhere today hoping that their grandchildren will someday have a chance, maybe to be president of the World Bank? Right? Making sure that those dreams can come true is, I think, the best thing you can do, and I just feel incredibly fortunate that I'll have that opportunity.
네. 총재님 정말 바쁘신데 저희 위해서 이렇게 독점 인터뷰 시간 또 내주셔서 정말 감사드리고요. 총재직을 정말 잘 수행하셔서 세상을 변화시켜 주세요. 네. 응원하고 기대하겠습니다. 오늘 인터뷰 정말 감사합니다. 고맙습니다.
하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 고맙습니다. 1959년 가난한 한국 땅에서 태어난 김영 총재. 당시 많은 전문가들은 한국의 경제 성장이 불가능하다고 말했지만 한국은 성장했다. 그에겐 믿음이 있다. 성장이 불가능한 나라는 없다는 것. 그 모든 것은 사람에 대한 투자에서 시작된다. 페루, IT, 아프리카 등 세계 곳곳의 빈곤 지역에서 삶을 포기한 채 죽음을 기다리고 있던 사람들을 위해 일하며 평생 사람을 위해 헌신해온 김영 총재. 동양인 최초의 월드뱅크의 수장으로 세계의 건강한 성장을 이끌어갈 그의 앞날을 기대해 본다.